Before we get started, please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Okay, so let us get started. Let's have a look at what we have coming up today. This week, should I say, let's have a look at what happened. We spoke last week and I did say, if you can recall, that should we get the right, I guess, cocktail of data, we could be speaking today with our Aussie dollar very close to the 75 mark, and that's in fact exactly what happened. But I did get asked quite a few questions about non-farm payrolls. The number came in actually stronger than predicted. It came in at about 40,000 higher than what we were expecting, and yet we saw US dollar weakness. So why is that? So why does that sometimes happen? Now, the basic answer to that question is going to be different for every time that whatever the environment is, whatever's happening in the environment at that particular time. On this occasion, pretty much investors are of the mood that the US tightening cycle is pretty much on hold for a while and that they do not want to increase rates further. That's the sentiment. So then when this number comes in, because it didn't absolutely blow everything out of the water, it has a negative reaction. Even though the number was good, the sentiment is still that it's not good enough to continue on a US tightening cycle. So in essence, what basically happened is the market has spoken and the US dollar lost strength. Okay, and that's, of course, as I've said already, regardless that the number came in much better than expected. Now, having said that, the FOMC meeting is in March. The March meeting, the raw statistics say that the US economy has done fairly well. The numbers were good. There was really not much bad data that came out of that. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is I feel that the economy has improved enough so that when the Fed for the FOMC meeting later in this month, when they get together, most analysts believe that there will be definitely a hawkish sentiment about that statement, which is basically saying that the cycle of interest rate rising is not off the table, which basically means that the US dollar can maintain its strength. All right, so unless they say something totally to the contrary of that, then that totally flips the outlook. But due to due to data being released recently, we do get the feeling that the Fed Reserve will remain on a hawkish sort of sentiment towards the interest rate stance for 2016. Okay, so that's what happened. That's why the market did what it did. This week, I guess all eyes now turn towards the euro, where we have the press conference and the bid rate number. So let me highlight that for you. So that happens over here Thursday, or let's say wee hours of the morning, Friday morning if you're in Sydney time, or Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Time. Basically, for the euro, a couple of scenarios. Okay, it's common knowledge that they feel that something has to be done to improve the situation in the eurozone. There is talk of a 10 basis point interest rate cut. So for this one here, so they're talking about 10 basis points to cut it down by 10. Now, really, if that's all they do, and they do a 10 basis point cut, you get the feeling that the market's going to be disappointed with such a movement, and you will see the inverse reaction. Instead of, basically, it would mean that the Euro USD would go up. Okay, so where in reality, when we get an interest rate cut, what's really happening? The currency in itself is weakening. So what would you expect the Euro USD to go up or down? What would we expect? Okay, we've got a mixed. I've actually got 50-50. Everybody's half of you saying up, half saying down. Some of you are just putting question marks in there. Okay, so let's think it out. Let's just make this a first exercise. So let's think Aussie dollar to make it easier because it's a little bit closer to home. Let's think Aussie dollar. Okay, if we all of a sudden cut the rate of the Aussie dollar, what does that do to our currency? Does our currency get stronger or does it get weaker? If we cut the interest rate of our currency, what happens? Does it get stronger or weaker? Okay, great. So it gets weaker. So then, if we're comparing our currency against, doesn't matter what currency, but let's just say the US dollar, if we cut our interest rate, would we expect the combination to go up or down? Down. Correct. All right. So therefore, the statement that I was trying to make was if the Euro USD, if the Euro weakens their currency by 10 basis points, which is one option that they've got that people are talking about, what we would expect is for this combination to go down. Okay, however, the market, the investors and traders and so forth, the people that are moving the market kind of feel that this is not enough. It's not going to be enough to help out the euro, and in almost a sense of, I guess, sort of, I can't think of the correct word to use right now, but just that it's not correct. The market, we could expect the Euro USD to go up instead of going down. Okay, this is one of those occasions where what happened on on-farm on Friday. So look out for that. The alternative is that they don't do that and they basically announce more quantitative easing, okay, and then they purchase more assets. Now this would basically really send the correct signal to the market that they are definitely weakening their currency. They are flooding the market with more euros, and then we could see the Euro USD come down, and it could come down very aggressively. Okay, so key to this combination of data is if they announce an aggressive quantitative easing or further amount of quantitative easing, we could see the Euro USD move very, very sharp. Should they not do that and just do a rate cut instead, we could actually see it go in the opposite direction. So keep that in the back of your mind if you're trading the euro later in the week. The other significant currency that's going to be experiencing data is the Kiwi dollar. It's got the RBNZ on Thursday morning, so we will see what their cash rate does. Nobody's really expecting it to move this time. The New Zealand economy has recovered. Their dairy numbers have gone back into sort of where they're happy, and more importantly, the Aussie New Zealand has kept in par. Commodities are changing a little bit, and they're also a commodity type nation as well. So we don't really expect the Kiwi dollar to surprise, and we don't expect them to do an interest rate movement this week. However, there was concern before that from previous months where if they were not hitting the numbers that they were wanting to hit, they would definitely consider another rate cut. Now, the data that's come out since that time has been more on the good side, so therefore I feel that it's probably going to be more of a neutral one this particular week. But there you have it, that's Kiwi dollar. What else do we have? Currency that's actually recovered like we spoke last week, which was the pound. The sterling, in many ways, it was perhaps a little bit oversold, and it has recovered to some extent. what a lot of analysts are also saying is that even though lots and lots of bad UK data has come out, it has managed to kind of keep its head up above water. The Brexit talk is now starting to fade a little bit. It's not as dominant. It's not headline news like it was, say, a week ago. So it's starting to edge off. Not much in terms of strong data. We got manufacturing numbers on Wednesday. This particular week, it's not a massive data week. I feel that the one to look out for this week is going to be the Euro USD, and it's mainly because of the current Eurozone climate, and whatever the outcome is down here could make the big movement in terms of data. Okay, any for the Aussie dollar finally, we got the trade balance numbers for China and the production industrial numbers in the wee hours of Saturday morning. Other than that, that's all we have on the data front. Let's bring out our charts. Let's have a look at what's happening and let's see if we can find some trading opportunities. We'll start off with the Aussie dollar. Now, we saw this break last week, and from memory, I think I can only recall one person that had taken this particular position. Did anybody else take that long? Can I just get a show of hands again? Okay, from memory, I think it was only one. Maybe there's two now that took that trade. This is a difficult trade to take psychologically. We all know that, but I like to keep track of them. And in many ways, sometimes people say yes, but if non-farm didn't do what it did, then the trade wouldn't happen. But that's trading, okay? So when you do pattern trading, it's often data and news and everything that's going on around that helps you trade or does not help you trade. Okay, so this was a very good breakout converging triangle trade. Let's have a look at what we have on offer now, how we can actually position ourselves if there's anything left in it. If I was to give you an idea, this particular trade, probably about this distance here would be about the target level that you could expect, which that would mean we'd have to break 75. I believe we got up to 74. Let me just check. About 74.40 is as high as we got on Friday. So what could happen is a couple of things. We could get a re-entry opportunity. We could get a bit of a pullback and try and get another entry over there. All right. So with that, keeping that thought in mind, I just want to show you something. Okay, if we just ignore the triangles for a little moment and we just concentrate on the parallel lines that I've just drawn up, I've got 1, 2, 3, and I'm thereabouts on a fourth touch, making it a valid set of parallel lines. So also in the back of my head, I'm thinking, will this market have a little bit of a breather and give me a little bit of a pullback before I get my next entry to go for it again? So with that in mind, this is a daily chart, by the way. I'm kind of a little bit interested in to see if I get a setup, an inside candle type setup. It looks like there was a gap there this morning as well. Give me 1 second. Let me just have a quick look at that. Okay, so the market gapped this morning. It's more or less, I would consider this just about closed, so I wouldn't consider it as gap trading is done. So what I'm interested in is this. If this candle, let's say it remains a little candle like that, for example, I'll get my nice big candle, inside candle follows at the break. I would be interested in taking somewhat of a trade over there. And if it ends up the way that I've drawn it there, your stop would be there. There's enough room to go for it on the downside, so keep that in mind. Someone is saying that we've got 6 up days in a row. Let's count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5. We don't know about today. So if we were going to apply the 7-day rule, there would only be tradable on Wednesday morning. Okay, so far we've got 5 locked in. We don't even know what today is going to end up like as yet. Okay. All right, so that's Aussie dollar. Someone's asking, is this an ABCD pattern? Let me see if this is an ABCD pattern. So that from there to there to there to there, is that the pattern that you're asking me, Lois? Let me check. Just please confirm while I'm checking. Okay, the ABC is confirmed. So what I'm saying is from this point all the way up to there and then down to here, that's a 61.8. That's a 61.8 fib retracement. So ABC is confirmed. Let me check for the D. So that means I want this D to be, what number should the D be at, guys? Who can help me out? The D here should be at how much? 5 brownie points for the person who gets it. How much should it be? Anyone? All right, should be 1618. Paul, 5 points. Well done. Okay, let's measure it. Okay, and from there down to here, that point there was the 161, and we've gone through it. Okay, so therefore this is not an ABCD pattern. Okay, so if you were trading an ABCD pattern, you would have had your sell somewhere over there, and depending where you had your stop, you might have been stopped out already. Okay, so it's not, and it's gone too far. Okay, but it was very, very close. All right, so let's get rid of those lines. All right, so do we understand what we will try to do for this particular trade? We're going to wait for today's candle to finish. So tomorrow at 9 o'clock when the next candle starts, let's look for an inside candle. As long as we haven't broken and haven't gone higher, we could have an inside candle to shoot back down. Let's move on. Euro USD. Now, I'm really very keen this week to try and get into a euro trade. All right, because I know that the movement's going to be there. Now, if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. That's just the way it goes. But I'm really keen on trying to get onto some type of euro trade. The chart that I'm looking at right now, what do we think about that chart? First of all, there's that zone of that line that I've marked out. I'm coming up to that as well. I kind of like that. Am I in downtrend or uptrend? Down or uptrend? Okay, so I'm on downtrend, and there's a really good possibility of getting an inside candle set up on a downtrend, which would mean that on Wednesday, tomorrow on Tuesday, if this candle say finishes like that, then on tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I can put my pen in order to try and trade it in a downward direction. This candle, of course, would have the fractal, So in essence, I would get an inside candle with the opportunity to trade the break down. Um, with lots of room, and then what we would basically be hoping is that we get lots of quantitative easing and to shoot the euro right down through the floor. Okay, so I do hope that I get this set up. If I get the setup, I will take it tomorrow. This is the one that I'm looking for, either this one or the euro yen, and I'll show you that one in a moment when we get to it. But this looks really, really good. Okay, so nothing right now, but it's virtually set for tomorrow morning. Let's move on. GBP USD. Okay, GBP USD downtrend or uptrend? Downtrend, definitely. And we could get the opportunity to take the same type of trade right there to shoot off tomorrow morning. We could get a trigger on the GBP USD, and if we do, that's a nice trigger there. I've drawn a set of parallel lines. Now, I don't want to influence you. The reality is that I shouldn't have parallel lines on my chart, not yet. But what I like to do is I like to start to look for it. So in the event that, say, I do not get the setup that I'm looking for tomorrow, then I start to look for my next trade. I'll start to look for it in this area up there. Okay. At the moment, I have no reason to look in here. I'm just getting a little bit ahead of myself just in case I don't get a trigger. So the reason I had them up here was just to remind myself. So let me get rid of them. And what you should be looking for tomorrow is we should all be looking for an inside candle setup to trade downwards. If we get it, then that's fantastic. If we don't get it, then bring up your parallel lines wherever they may be and look for the next trade to come along. Okay, Paul, I don't actually TL. What do you mean by TL? I'm not picking that one up. Oh, okay, thanks. Sorry, trend line. Okay, let me just draw another line. Okay, so the trend line as well, Paul's pointing out that we're getting very close to that area there. So the obvious trade to look for right now is this one over here. Okay, let me just get rid of this line now. I don't need it anymore. The next obvious trade to look for is the one that we're here. If we go through this level, then get rid of this line and let's change it for a set of parallel lines, and let's look for it again over here. Now remember, we're trading price action, which basically means we're going to get a lot of protection anyway if we don't get the trades that we're looking for. Okay? All right. That's our GBP USD. Let's move on. Let's have a look at gold. Okay, gold has come out of that little triangle that we were planting. What does it look like on a 4 hour? Give me 1 sec. I just want to see it a bit better. Okay. Would anybody be interested in trading this particular setup if it comes around tomorrow? What are the thoughts? Okay, so most of you like the trade, but that's good. Um, it is, I know it's gold, and gold trades with different parameters to other instruments. Let me just get rid of some lines. Just if you are going to trade gold, essentially this is about as tight with the smallest stop that you can trade it. So if you look at the distance wise, let's just, if it ended up the two candles as they are right now, your stop would be just there, okay, and your entry will probably be over there. So your risk level is minimal amount for the type of return that you could possibly get out of it. Now, someone's also saying that there's some divergence on gold. Let me just check that. Okay, I just need to change. I don't like checking on my CCI. Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, there is a little bit of divergence there. So, for those of you who are not aware, if I look at the top to the top, this is moving in an upward direction. But if I look at my indicator here to here at the moment, it's moving in a downward direction. So my indicators are going down, my price is going up, which signifies divergence, which when they go back into alignment with each other, what that could mean is that this one shoots back down. Okay, so we got divergence. We're on a trend line. This one looks tradable. So this one looks tradable. To protect ourselves, we'll try and get a price action entry. Okay, so we'll look for a price action entry for it tomorrow. So what we have to hope is that we still get an inside candle. If we get an inside candle here, we probably get an inside candle on the other two as well. So you may have 3 trades tomorrow. So you might have to choose if you don't want to take all of them. Okay, so that one there, if it remains as it is, tomorrow we'll put in a breakout order downwards and we'll try and trade it down. Okay, 1 second, someone's saying there's something on a weekly channel. No, I don't like that on the weekly, so but I still like the trade. Okay, so we'll stick to the daily, and it looks okay to me. All right, so let's look out for this one tomorrow as well. Let's move on. US yen. This is an interesting one. Is anybody got a live position on US yen right now? Yes or no? Okay, we got 2 people. As per our sets of rules, was there a trade in here? Was that a trade setup? Yes or no? Yes, it was. Okay, definitely a trade setup. So how come only 2 of us are on the trade? What's happened? Okay, let me talk you through it. So essentially, We're definitely on the down. Okay, the moving averages are in our favor. We've pulled back. We got the candle with the fractal. The next candle next to it was an inside candle. Okay, and we broke it there in a downward position. If I was going to be picky about this trade, the only thing that is not ideal is that that red candle should be green and this green candle should be red. That's really the only thing. Now, having said everything that I've just said, if we're seeing this trade live right now for the very first time, is it still a, a legitimate trade to be taken? Yes or no? Okay. A few of you are saying no. Most of you are saying yes. Okay. So let's talk it through. If you entered the trade, you would have entered right here. Okay. Where I've just drawn that mark. I can reconfirm for you that this high here is lower than this one over here. It is lower. So it's a legitimate, it's a proper trade. So if my entry was here, my stop would be there somewhere. My T1 would be here somewhere. Have I reached my T1? Yes or no? So I'll ask the question again now. Is this a legitimate trade? Okay, it's 100%, it's a legitimate trade. So if I had taken the trade on Friday, because this is Friday's candle, essentially I would still be in this trade right now. Okay, so if someone has, unless your rules specifically say, okay, that you're only allowed to take it on that day. If you miss it, you can't take it. So, and I think some of you might have that as part of your rules. Well, then that's okay. So, having said that, who wants to take this trade live right now at market? I'm probably going to get it about 50 pips better off. So that's a yes. Okay, as soon as I take it, we're all in. Here we go. Let me just do my maths. Give me 1 second. Let me clear my markers. I'll make my stop 95. So we'll go 60 divided by 95. Trade at about 63 cents. It is the US yen. So let's go 0.5. So trade in, new order. 114.63. So it goes 0.05. 114.63. And I'll put a target, say 112 something. I'll adjust it in one moment. Let's make it 111. Okay, I am going to enter this trade live at market. Double check the account I'm in. Yep, I'm in the right account. Okay, so I've just gone in at market. Give me one moment. I just want to adjust that stop. 14.54. Okay. All right, so I just sold US yen at market. I got an entry of 113.76. My stop is 114.65. My T2 target is 111.96. My T1 will be somewhere around about 112.80ish or somewhere in there. Okay, so we've got in at 0.05, approximate risk of around about $60 on the trade. All right, so for those of you that are following, you should see that on your screen as well. Okay, so that's US yen. So what we're hoping, to state the obvious, is we're hoping this happens. Okay, let's move on. Let's Euro yen. Okay, Euro yen, it's a really good setup as well, just the same as the US, Euro US. Inside candle forming in a downtrend. We'd like to hit that. That Euro trade is one that I definitely want to be part of. Whichever one looks better, or I might take both if they come up. Um, but and they're both identical. Have a look at, there's the Euro yen, and here's the Euro USD chart. Okay, if anything, possibly the Euro yen looks nicer because it's way more in a nicer downtrend market. All right, so but the setup is identical. We're in a downtrend, pulling back, looking for an inside candle to shoot downwards. Kiwi dollar. All right, Kiwi dollar. Wait, let me just zoom out a bit more. We're coming up to this region here. Let's get rid of this line now. We don't really need it. So before, like, we could go for a counter trend type trade at that triple top region. Okay, but we don't really want to rush this trade. So let's see what happens if we get there. Otherwise, where we are right now, there is just absolutely nothing on. Okay, so what we're going to do with Kiwi dollar is, um, when I zoom out, you can see it a little bit better. We can see that we've got that triple sort of there, and if we get to it again, it'll be like a triple top support resistance line. So what we will look for is we're going to look for some price action activity in that region to see if it shoots us down. Let me just check one thing. I just saw one thing. One moment. Okay, what might also happen is notice that my parallel lines, if we get up there, I'll get one touch, two touches, three touches, and that would be my fourth touch. But that touch over here matches up with a triple top and a set of parallel lines, which increases the probability of this action there. So this is a trade that I'll leave these parallel lines on now. It would increase our probability of success. So for right now, let's just wait and let's see if this sets up for us. Okay, so that's Kiwi dollar. Last for the week, Euro Aussie. Let's have a look at this. Euro Aussie. I wonder if this is any kind of Fibonacci pattern. Give me one moment. I just want to double check one thing. No, there isn't any. I thought there might have been a Fibonacci like a butterfly or something, but there isn't. So just ignore that last last comment. It doesn't hurt to check. Okay, so Euro AUD. we've just shot through that. Okay, so which basically really would need to wait till we get towards this area again if I'm interested in this type of trade. I don't have any patterns or any geometric sort of parallel lines or anything right now out of this one. So I just have to wait. There's nothing at all. All I'm going to mark on my chart is I just want to mark this area here so that when I get there, let's just see what happens. Okay, so we've just gone through this one. So this is the next logical area to look. We are in downtrend, so I guess in the meantime, if you wanted to take a trade, what we would have to look for is we'd have to look for the pullback, look for the candle pattern sequence that we like, and then basically take the trade. Alternatively, if you were going to apply something based on our last Thursday's class, then we would wait till we get into that hot region there and make a decision if we want to just enter with a limit order directly rather than wait for price action. Okay. All right. So let me summarize what we've done today. Any questions, please type them in now while I go back and summarize, and I'll address them for you in a moment. Aussie dollar, we've broken out of that triangle and it's heading forward, and we've got an opportunity to perhaps trade a parallel set of lines on a pullback while we have a bit of a breather. So we need to wait for an inside candle, which would be available tomorrow morning should it appear. EURUSD, where it looks to be into a downtrend, pulling back, inside candle possibility tomorrow morning as well, and also on a resistance, previous resistance level. GBPUSD, same thing, we're pulling back, inside candle possibility, need to wait for tomorrow, so we could get quite a few setups tomorrow. Gold, again, we're on a resistance line, inside candle, let's look for it tomorrow. US yen, we've just entered live, we've got in at 113.76, stop 114.65, and our target 111.96. That's our T2 target. Our T1 target is inside that, and you can see the trades fluctuating. We're up about 4 pips at the moment. Let's go Euro Yen. Nice downtrend, pulling back, inside candle setup. We could get it tomorrow morning. Now, if you really want one that's going to move this week, we would need to hop onto something euro. So we've got 2 possibilities for tomorrow. Kiwi dollar, we just got to monitor this. It looks like we could get a common point of interest where we get a triple top occurring at the same place as a set of parallel lines. So let's wait and see what happens there. We're not there yet. Euro Aussie is our worst looking chart of the week. There's absolutely nothing. Let's wait and see if we get to this next hot region. Alternatively, look for a pullback, which we're not there yet anyway, but look for the pullback and see if we can get an entry. That is everything that I see for this week. Any questions? Question for you guys. Are most of you taking these trades, or you're taking them somewhere just to, I guess, to monitor and feel and keep a vibe of the market? Great. Okay, that's good. So for those of you who aren't taking the trades live at this stage, at the very least, just in order to feel the market, take them somewhere, even if it's in a demo mode. Okay, I'm not a huge sort of demo trader because it doesn't help you psychologically, but it does help you at least keep interested in the market and watch what's actually happening. Okay, all right. So if that's all the questions or for this week, I hope you all have a great trading week. Look out for those. Let me bring them back up. These are the news events that are occurring for us this week. Any questions, as usual, just please respond to the email in which you receive your invitation. I will have a look at something different again this week on Thursday, 3:30 as always. And until then, I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Bye for now.